the way you think it is. It's that the way the world is a way that you can't think it is, because you simply do not have the imaginative capacity to conceive of such overwhelming peculiarity. This is something so taboo, that you can go from birth to the grave and never encounter it. Not only can you do that, but most people do. And throughout history, most people have. They never had an inkling. You know, they may have set armies marching, they may have launched empires, they may have built fantastic inventions, painted amazing paintings, created phenomenal works of literature, but they were wet behind the ears when it comes to the full spectrum of reality, because without this in the picture, half the world is missing.
You can say you know everything, I'm a fucking smart guy, I was top of my class. I get you high on DMT, I guarantee you will think about everything different for the rest of your life, because you didn't know that was there. You didn't know that all you had to do was follow a few simple steps and you're in a different land, where everything is complex geometric patterns made out of love and understanding that are communicating with you in some sort of a telekinetic language. I don't think that you can really appreciate life unless you know that that's there. If you don't know that that's there, it's like you've lived 3/4 of a life. But you don't understand. There's an experience, and it only takes about 15 minutes, and you'll never be the same again. You're going to come back, and you're going to be burdened with all your past preconceived notions and ideas and all the things that you've learned from your life, but you're essentially going to be a totally different person now. You're a person who can never forget the things that you saw or the way that you felt when you experienced that.
It cannot be an accident that our evolution has given us this potential. Evolution gives us nothing unless it's useful. And it therefore suggests that these altered states of consciousness are incredibly useful to the human species.
No matter how weird I say it is, no matter what scintillating metaphor I create to attempt to beguile you into imagining what you can't imagine, I'm perfectly aware that I'm falling short of the goal. Frankly, words fail. For about 15 minutes, all I could say was, I can't believe it. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. I can't believe that. I can't believe that. You call that a drug? You must be nuts. Drugs don't do that. Any drugs speed you up, slow you down, make you fall down, stuff like that. This is no drug. It's magic. It masquerades as a drug. It's a doorway into another world.
When you get a big one, when you have a big, real big breakthrough experience, the whole world is just so different after that. It almost seems like it's too slippery. It can't be real. It can't be that you can go into that other world so easily. All you have to do is take something physically and it doesn't even hurt you. Come back fine. How the fuck is that going on? And so when you know that, then all of a sudden, all the established parameters that are in place for this culture seem ridiculous, because you know for a fact that all the people that are making all the rules have not had this experience. And you're like, that's like you're an infant. If you've never had like a real overblown, blowout psychedelic experience, it's almost like being an infant. I'm telling you, it is the one thing that will make you question everything, like in the most legitimate, tangible sense. We pretend that we like question shit, but a lot of what, people, when they say they're questioning things, a lot of what you're doing is sort of like following a certain pattern, whether it's a liberal pattern or a conservative pattern. The thing that makes you really question shit is a psychedelic experience. The blowout ones, when you emotion, and you just realize, how can that could be reality. This reality is only this reality because this is what it is. And it's an ashtray, and this is a fucking can of soda. This is what it is. But this doesn't have to be like this. This could be that crazy kaleidoscope world that exists when you take DMT. I mean, that might be reality. This isn't the only possibility. The realities that you experience when you're high on psychedelics, yeah, they're hallucinations. It's something that's probably not really there, or it's a window to something that is there, and you can't tune into without psychedelics. You could be swimming in a soup of possibilities.
Reality is much more complicated than we imagine, and the very small part of reality that we normally relate to, like an iceberg, the tip of the iceberg is above the surface, but 9/10 of it is below the surface. 9/10 of reality may be below the surface of our normal everyday consciousness, but it may be vitally important for us to find ways to access that other 9/10 of reality below the surface, and that's what altered states of consciousness appears to allow us to do.
There are all kinds of ways in this world for us to challenge ourselves. Some people might do it by climbing a mountain. Some people might do it by scuba diving. Well, I've done that, actually, deep scuba diving. Some people might do it by jumping out of an airplane and hoping the parachute will open. There's lots of ways to challenge ourselves, but actually one of the most profound and challenging ordeals is to drink ayahuasca. It is, in a way, the ultimate adventure. Ayahuasca will bring you to revelations that psychotherapy might take decades to bring you to. It's really extraordinarily difficult, but you are being offered the opportunity to make changes in your life. And that is an incredibly valuable opportunity, because most often it's difficult to make changes because you simply don't see they're needed. Ayahuasca, sooner or later, she will show you what you need to do. Whether you do it, that's up to you, but she will show you. And then beyond that, there's the enchanted realm of vision. There's the sense of a magical universe, that we are actually not caught up in something mundane and physical and down to earth only, but in something that's deeply enchanted and magical in this adventure of life, and in the incredible opportunity to be born in a human body and to undergo the teaching and learning experiences that life in a human body involves, and to live on this beautiful garden of a planet surrounded by, the majestic wonder of the universe, to look up at night and see that and be part of that and wonder where we are in the scheme of things, that there is behind all this not just dead physical processes, but a profound magical intelligence which is at work in the universe. Ayahuasca will show you that sooner or later more clearly than anything else you could ever experience. I think that what psychedelics offer us is the opportunity to explore the mystery of consciousness itself, and to investigate the nature of reality, and perhaps for radically reshaping our view of what reality is.
Ayahuasca mamai taki taki moiki. Ayahuasca mamai taki taki moiki. Chuya chuya samping pundi. Miski yunyo kwepu chaita. Chuya chuya samping pundi. Miski yunyo kwepu chaita.
Listen, what if I could prove that it takes you to another dimension? And in that other dimension, you will see things that you could not possibly have imagined. And you will experience novelty and honesty and wisdom and love in the purest forms possible. Like they're waves hitting you when you're standing on the beach. If I could tell you that it was definitely taking you to another dimension, would you go then? I don't know. Here's what I know for sure. If it took you to another dimension, you had that experience, or if you just had that experience in your head, you still have that experience. And it might as well have taken you to another dimension. It might as well. Because the same thing happened. You saw the same shit. You felt the same things. You experienced the same things. You saw it all. It might not have been real, but it might have been real too. It doesn't matter. You still experienced it exactly the same way, as if it did take you to another planet, and you did ride around the rings of Saturn in your underwear. I mean, it really does take you to that place. Maybe you're missing out on what the fuck that is. That's some magic fairy dust, bitch. You get to go to a fairyland.
Society values and focuses upon is what I call the alert problem-solving state of consciousness. It's the state of consciousness that we need to be in for commerce and business, and for working in an intense office environment, for example, for working in sales, for the more mundane aspects of science, for flying an aeroplane. For warfare, you really, you need your soldiers in an alert, problem-solving state of consciousness.
You get really stoned. Then, like, who cares about the war? This war.
All of these activities that our society is heavily invested in require the alert, problem-solving state of consciousness. I recognize that it's a valuable state of consciousness and it has its place. I think the problem is that our society is over-monopolistically focused upon it and devalues other states of consciousness, which, in the right place, responsibly used, may have a huge contribution to make to human welfare. Our society is not against altering consciousness in principle. So I have to ask myself, why is alcohol okay, but cannabis and DMT are not okay? Why is it fine to just drink as much alcohol as you want, but to be sent to